Good day, students. You're all welcome to today's class. Our topic for today is directed numbers. Directed numbers is not a difficult thing. It's just all about the nature of numbers. You know, apart from 0, there is no any number that is neutral. It's either the number is positive or the number is negative in nature. So at the end of today's class, at least you should be able to define and add and subtract directed numbers. You should be able to also multiply directed numbers, and as well you should be able to divide directed numbers. The division aspect of the directed numbers is derived from the multiplication aspect of directed numbers. I know that the addition and subtraction of directed numbers is something you've done previously. But if you don't have any knowledge about directed numbers completely, then you ought to pay attention to this class. We said directed numbers is telling you about the nature of numbers. The number is neutral. No number is neutral except 0. Only 0 that is neutral. Whether you give it a positive sign or a negative sign, it is still 0. Whether you did not give it sign, it is still 0. So apart from 0, any other number must either be a positive number or a negative number. Numbers that are written without sign, without any indication that is either positive or negative, it is generally accepted that it is positive in nature. For example, if you say 2, yes, we agree that you said 2, but when we want to be too critical, we know you are saying plus 2. Because if it is negative 2, you must say that it is negative 2. So numbers written without positive or negative sign is positive in nature. So in this aspect, we want to use number line system to explain the positivity and the negativity of numbers, exception of 0. I know you might have done something like graph before, and if you've not done number line system, you might have done something like graph before. You find out that in a graph, the point of intersection where x and y intersect, you know that it is labeled as 0. Then if you want to scale the x-axis, you find out that when you scale towards the right, all the values are positive. But when you scale towards the left, all the numbers there are negative. So beginning from 1 to infinity. So we know that exemption of 0, every other number should either be positive or negative in nature. So looking at the first number line system, you can find out that in 0, there is no sign attached to 0. 0 is just 0. Then at the right hand side, you find out that we started with plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 5, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus 7. That simply means that number increases towards right but decreases towards left. Then look at left, you have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. So look at the other directed number. You find out that the positive aspect, we didn't give it a positive sign. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But if you look at the negative aspect, I couldn't remove the negative sign because a negative number must carry the negative sign. But positive numbers have the options of either carrying or not. So now in this aspect, we are going to observe how to carry out addition and subtraction of directed numbers using number line system. The purpose of us using this number line system, it is for us to be efficient in carrying out subtraction and addition. Like some of you, if they ask you something like minus 20 plus 8, you might not be able to give an accurate answer because minus 20 is now bigger than plus what? 8, and you will find it what? Very difficult to what? Dictate the answer. But using number line system, you find out that what? We have the number line, we also have what? Arrows that aid our counting and shows us the direction of what? Counting. Like if we have two numbers, look at this example. We said simplify a minus 1 minus 2. When you are using the number line system, the first number must be located on the number line, while the second number will be the number of times you are going to count, either towards right or towards what? Left. But if the number in between, if the sign in between the two numbers are positive in nature, the sign will enable us to do the counting towards what? Right. But if it is negative, we'll do the counting towards what? Left. And the point where your counting ends becomes the result of the word operation. So now look at this one. We have what? A minus 2. On the number line system, we located minus 2. Then we now have what? Minus 5 means you should count 5 times towards what? The left. So when we count 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the end point becomes what? Minus 7. So if the end point is minus 7, that simply means that minus 2 minus 5 is equals to what? Minus 7. Please pay attention to this value because I'm going to explain something in respect to this thing so that you must not use number line system to get accurate addition or subtraction. You should be able to use your common sense from this our number line system to tell where the final value when you are adding or subtracting two numbers. So now let's look at B. The B aspect, we have what? 2 plus 5. 2 plus 5 means plus 2 plus 5. So the next thing you need to do, locate plus 2 on the number line system where you have that plus 2 there. Then you count 5 times towards what? Right. Why are you counting 5 times towards right? Because the sign in between 2 and 5 is plus. So you are counting what? 5 times towards what? Right. And when you count the 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You find out that what? The end point is what? 7. That simply means that 2 plus 5 is equals to what? 7. The arrows which we attach to the counting is telling us that this is where I start counting, and this is where I what? End. If you look at the arrow at the last one, the arrow stopped at what? Number 7. So, and I took 7 as the word answer. So it's telling you that what? That is where the operation ends. Then now we are looking at something. We said what? The above example is trying to illustrate something to us. The above example is trying to illustrate something to us. So if you have two numbers without multiplication in between them, if the two numbers are carrying the same sign, what do I mean by the same sign? If we have something like minus 2 minus 5, if we have something like plus 2 plus 5, you find out that the two of them are carrying what? The same sign. So if the two of them are carrying the same sign, just look as if it is not minus you are saying. Add the two numbers before you put the nature of the two signs. If the two signs are positive, then you will now put a positive sign at the end of your operation. And if the two signs are what? Negative, you will now put a negative sign at the end of your word operation. So if you look at my example there, you find that after I have minus 1, minus 2, minus 5, then the next step, what did I put? I put what? Minus open bracket 2 plus what? 5. In other words, I have factorized the minus sign. But even if you don't understand that, you find out that, what did I say? I said when the two signs are the same, what will you do? You add the numbers together. So that is why I added what? 2 and 5 to give me what? 7. So since the two of them are what? Negative in nature, then the 7 ought to be what? Negative. So in this case again, we have what? Minus 2 plus 5. This is where we used to have problem, where you have two different signs there. The first thing you need to do, you need to look at the number That is the sign that has the larger word, the sign that carries the highest number. Like we have minus 2 plus 5, you find out that 5 is bigger than 2. So which sign is 5 is carrying? You find out that 5 is carrying word plus. So in other words, you subtract and you give the sign of the word elder in the word operation. You need to give the sign of the elder in the word operation. So now we have what? Minus 2 plus 5. So after I look at the number, since the two of them are negative, different sign, you said what? 5 minus 2 will give you what? 3. So if 5 minus 2 gives you 3, what is the nature of the highest number? The highest number is what? Positive. So the answer is what? Plus 3. So in another case where we have what? 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5, I said if you have two different signs and you are carrying out an operation, the first thing you need to do, it is to check their nature. Are they the same nature or different in what? Nature. So if they are different in nature, just like this, 2 minus 5, the first thing I did here, I put what? Open bracket, 5 minus 2. So it's like you borrow the minus sign to 2. So after you carry out the operation, you will now give it back. You see that what? 5 minus 2 gives us what? 3. So now, which of the number is, which sign is carrying the larger number? You find out that it is what? Minus. So 3 will becomes what? Minus. I hope this example is very, very clear to us. Is that okay to us? So this is how to carry out what? Addition and what? Subtraction of directed numbers. I believe that in our next class, I will also try to explain more about square root for us, so that you will know the reason why you will have root of 25 and somebody will be telling you that the root of 25 is either it is 5 or it is what? Minus 5. Later on, when we are done with all these things, we'll also what? Get those things. So the next thing we are looking at is what? Multiplication of directed numbers. If you are carrying out multiplication of directed numbers, the first thing you need to know is that if the two numbers that you are multiplying, they are carrying the same sign, you are counting towards the word right. But if the numbers, they are all carrying different signs, you are going to count towards the word left. But in multiplication, your counting always begins from what? 0. Your counting always begins from what? 0. And we also borrow the idea of primary mathematics, which will tell you that multiplication is called what? Repeated word addition. So now the first example here, we have what? A minus 2 minus 5. Minus 2 minus 5 is that the first thing we say that if you are counting a negative value, what will you count towards? You count towards what? Left. So when you are counting left first time, the thing move once, which is what? The minus 2 initial. So because the two of them now are carrying what? The same sign, I'm going to return the counting from 0 back towards what? The right. The end point will become our final word answer. So since we are using minus 2, that simply means that we are counting towards the right, because what? 2 is negative and 3 is also what? Negative. So now in this case you have what? Count from 0 to 2 times, count 2 into 3 times. The end point becomes your word answer. So if you look at here, we have what? 1, we cross 0, we count from 0, you raise it up, you jump 1, then you drop at 2, you raise it up again, you jump 3, you drop at 4, you raise it up again, and your word cross 5, and your word drop at what? 6. So minus the first one, you find out that what? We counted into 3 times. That is how we managed to get the word, the answer. And since we counted the 3 times, it ends as what? At 6. It ends at what? 6. That simply means that 6 is the what? Final answer. That is positive word 6. So in the next example, we also find out that what? We have we also find out that the next example we have something like what? 2 times 3. In 2 times 3, we said since the both of them are carrying the same sign, positive, positive, we are going to count towards right 3 times. We count 1, 2, 3, and it ends at what? 6. That simply means that 2 times 3 is what? 6. Then the next one we see what is what? Minus 2 times what? 3. You find out that minus 2 times 3 means that what? 2 and 3, they are carrying different signs. Immediately they are carrying different signs, we know that we are counting towards what? Left. So if you count 2 3 times, it stops at what? Minus 6, and that is the final answer. And also the D is also what? The same thing. You count what? 3 2 times, but in the what? Opposite what? Direction. I hope with all this you have better understanding about what? Multiplication of directed numbers. So if you look at the multiplication, you find out that where we have one of the number is positive and the other one is negative, you see that the result is what? Negative. And when we have the first one to be what? Negative, and the result is what? Positive, that simply means that the two numbers are what? Negative. But where we have what? Plus times plus, and where we have what? Minus times minus, the result will be what? Positive in what? Nature. I hope it is clear. So in summary, we are saying that what? Whenever you are multiplying two numbers, when you observe that the two of them, one is positive and one is negative, you should know that the answer, the result will always be what? Negative. But anytime the two numbers you are multiplying, they are all what? They are all positive, or they are all what? Negative. We are going to have what? A positive result. That is the summary of what? Multiplication. So now we are looking at division. Division is not anything in directed numbers. Because of what? Division depends on what? Multiplication. So any observation in multiplication, apply it in division, and you will also have the same result. That is why we start by what? Analyzing the mathematical signs here. You find out that what? They are corresponding with what? The other aspect. So I appreciate your attention, and thank you for watching, and expect exercise later in the day. God bless you and have a nice day. Please stay safe.